Hello, amazing artists. Thank you for coming to STEAM night tonight. I hope that you got a lot of fun goodies. When you saw me, you got some paper and you got a set of watercolor paints, and it's got the colors of the rainbow here and black and pink. And then it comes with a little paintbrush too. I'm going to show you an art experiment that you can do at home by yourself or with your family using your watercolor paints, your paper, and some crayons. So, and remember, since this is a video, you can pause it or rewind it if anything goes too fast. But I want to show you something else that you got too. When I pass out your materials, you also receive this notice right here. It says watercolor experimentation. You are a scientist artist right now, and I want you to play around with mixing your watercolor paints and crayons and seeing how that goes. So let's look at what I would like you to try. In this activity, you're going to create artwork using your crayons and your watercolor paints. You have to think like a scientist and investigate what happens when you try to paint over your crayon markings. So let's look right here where it says supplies. You need your watercolor paints, a cup of water, your paintbrush. If you have your own paintbrush, you can use that, or you can use the one that comes with your watercolor paints. You need some paper, and you need a pack of crayons. Not anything else. We need crayons. We need them because they're waxy, and that's part of our experiment, okay? If you're using the paper I gave you, you need to take the rubber band off and unroll it. It probably wants to roll back up, so you might need to flatten it out with your hands or put something heavy on top of the paper for a little while to help it flatten out. Or you can use some of the paper from your sketchbook. All right, so here is our video. Let's talk about our steps. Step one is to draw a picture on the white paper using crayons, not markers, not color pencils. You could experiment with those next time. But right now I want you to use thick, waxy lines with your crayons. We're gonna draw ice cream in a minute. Now you can draw whatever you want. So when I start making my ice cream picture, if you want to draw your cat or your family or a picture of a landscape, you can do that too. That would be fine. All right, we want to use a lot of colors with our crayons. We want this artwork to be so colorful. We haven't really gotten to paint all year. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to have fun using your paint and being creative. Use lots of colors of crayons. We're going to draw with big, bold, waxy lines. So when we use our crayon, push kind of hard. Don't break your crayons, but I want that color to be very vibrant and bold. All right, let's talk about getting set up. You need to have a space at your table where you have a little cup of water. That's how we make watercolor paints activate. We use some water. You're going to need some paper towels to dry your paintbrush or in case you make a spill. You need your paper that you're going to work on. I'm using just a small paper instead of the larger one. And then you have your watercolors. Yours are new, so you need to take the plastic wrap off. I have some old ones that are a little bit messy. So I'm going to use my old ones today so that I don't waste one of our nice new ones. You also need your paintbrush, okay? So go ahead and open up all your supplies and get them set up. Remember, if you have to pause the video, you can. When you first open up your watercolor paints, they are dry, they feel chalky, they don't work yet. Mine are shiny because they've been used, but they're also dry. When I put my finger in them, they don't work yet, okay? You guys know the deal by now. To make your watercolor paint work, you need to activate it by dipping your paintbrush in some water, getting your paintbrush wet, and then swooshing it around in the color that you want. You do a couple of swishes around and around, then pull out your paintbrush, and you can see that it's picked up some of the color. It's kind of hard to see, but there's green on my paintbrush right now. And if I want it to be more green and a very bright color, I'm going to use less water. If I put more water in, it's going to make my green more watery. It's going to be lighter. It'll be like a tint of green. All right, now I actually don't want to paint yet. So I'm going to clean my brush, put it in the water cup, swirl it around a little bit, get that green out, dry my paintbrush, and now it's good to go for later. Okay, before we actually paint, let's talk about your drawing. Remember, I'm going to do an ice cream themed picture. You can draw whatever you want. So I'm going to switch my camera over. If you want to draw ice cream with me, you can. If not, this is the time for you to draw your picture. Remember, we're going to draw, come on camera, we're going to draw with crayons because that's part of our experiment. What happens when you paint over waxy crayon lines? All right, I'm going to draw, first I'm going to draw a popsicle. Let me pick, I'm going to use this bright orange. I'm going to this orange. This orange looks a little bit brighter. So on one side of my paper, I'm going to draw the popsicle. This is going to be one of those double popsicles where it has two different popsicles connected. So it's kind of like the letter M. I'm tracing it with my finger before I do it with my crayon. So I'm going to go up and then curve down and then curve up again. And then I'll draw the popsicle sticks down here. If you would like to do it with pencil first, you can. I'm just going to put my crayon and do it with my crayon. So I'm going to go up, curve for one popsicle, down, curve up for the other popsicle part. All right, kind of looks like a popsicle already, or a big funny letter M. Remember, I want big waxy lines, so you might even trace over that same line with your crayon to make it even more bold. I'm pushing a little bit hard on my crayon. Not enough to break it, but I'm putting some wax on the paper. All right, now the bottom is where you have the sticks and the bottom of the ice cream cone. I'm going to draw a curve to show that popsicle curve, and then a curve to show where this popsicle curves. And then you know how you break them apart sometimes. Okay, so that's my popsicle. Now let me draw the sticks. Usually the sticks are made out of wood. I'm going to use brown, but you can pick any color you want. This can be a fantasy art. It doesn't have to be realistic. So I made a big popsicle stick. It looks like a big tall letter U. I'm going to draw another line on one side to make it look three-dimensional. It looks like the popsicle stick has a little bit of form. Let me make the other stick. A big tall letter U with a line down one side to show the form of the stick. All right, there's my popsicle. Now, you know what? I want to have some fun with this. Maybe it's hot out in this picture and this popsicle is melting. So, whoops. Oh, goodness. Look what happened, you guys. I broke my crayon. Let's talk about what to do when that happens. This crayon is not trash. I'm going to take my tape and give my crayon surgery. I know a lot of people that like to just throw away crayons when they break. This is still a very good crayon. So I'm going to put it back together and roll some tape around and give my crayon a little bit of crayon surgery. And then I'm going to test it and see. Yep, it's pretty sturdy. All right, my crayon's back to good. Look at that. Now I don't have to throw it away. But maybe I will be a little bit more gentle. All right, so there's one drippy ice cream. Maybe I'll put another drip over here. All right, this ice cream looks delicious. Now I want to make another one. Actually, this is a popsicle, isn't it? So now I'm going to draw another ice cream on this other side. You probably have a lot of space on your big paper. You could draw lots of different popsicles and ice creams. You could draw things in the sky or in the background and the space behind it. I'm going to decorate that area too. Okay, I want to draw a scoop ice cream. So I like mint. I looked through my crayons and found this color that looks kind of minty. This one's called sea green. I'm going to start at the top of my ice cream. When you get a scoop ice cream, you use the ice cream scooper and they scoop it out and it kind of makes a circle shape, right? Like a dome or like a rainbow. So my first scoop is going to be up here. I'm going to practice drawing the shape with my finger like a rainbow. Up and around. Yeah, that looks delicious. I love mint ice cream. Okay, now the bottom of the ice cream scoop is kind of rough. It's not curved anymore. This part was in the scooper. The bottom is kind of cloudy looking or bumpy. So I'm going to make some cloudy, curvy, bumpy lines where the ice cream didn't really get put into shape yet. All right, now I don't want to color it in with my crayon because remember later on I'm going to paint on top of my crayon and experiment and see what happens. So for now, I'm just going to use my green and maybe I'll add some chocolate chips. Think about what kind of ice cream you like and draw or outline the type of ice cream flavors that you like. Maybe like strawberry. All right, I added some chocolate chips. I'm liking this ice cream so far. Okay, what's another flavor that I could use? I did a lot of brown already. Let me pick something fun and different. Maybe I'll do red. What kind of ice cream would be red? All right. To make my second scoop, I don't have to draw the top because the top is sitting right underneath this scoop. I'm only going to draw a curve down the side and a curve down the other side. This scoop is on top, so it overlapped the bottom scoop. Now I still need to make the bottom of the ice cream look kind of cloudy and bumpy where it got scooped. So I'm going to do some kind of wavy, cloudy looking lines. Remember, you're pushing kind of hard because you want big, waxy lines. All right, I like that ice cream. Maybe I'll add some sprinkles. Do you like sprinkles with your ice cream? Maybe you like cherries in your ice cream, or nuts, or chocolate drizzle. You could decorate your ice cream however you want. Okay, a couple more sprinkles. The more details you add, the more exciting your picture will look. Okay, I don't have room for another scoop. I only have room for my ice cream cone now. Okay, but if you have room, you can keep adding scoops. You could have even made your ice cream look like this and had a whole bunch of scoops and then your cone at the bottom. So you decide how you want your artwork to look. I'm ready for my scoop. I'm going to use my fingers to help me think of the shape. I keep saying scoop. I'm not ready for a scoop. I'm ready for the cone. Excuse me. So the cone is basically a big letter V. I'm going to use my brown and draw a straight diagonal line down, diagonal line on the other side. Now the cone has texture in it. It's usually not flat. Usually it has some kind of bumpy texture. Or if it's a waffle cone, it might have square bumps and ridges in it. So I'm going to draw straight lines all the way across, one diagonal. And then I'm going to draw intersecting lines going the other way to make it look like a waffle cone. Now it looks like my ice cream cone has some texture. Remember, don't color it in yet. We will paint over it later and experiment with waxy crayons and watercolor paint. All right, I'm almost ready to paint, but there's a lot of white space back here that's kind of boring. So I'm going to take a few minutes to decorate my background. Maybe I'll put some fun shapes back there or draw more ice cream. You could draw anything you want in your artwork. I like to use different types of lines. This color was actually a lot of fun too. I'm going to use some more of this minty color. Do some zigzags. Zigzag, zigzag. Maybe a couple over here. You could write your name in your artwork. Something else I want you to try is using your white crayon. Look, this white crayon has had surgery too. I broke it one time. When we use our white crayon, you're not going to see it on your white paper. But when we paint over it, something is going to happen. I'm not going to tell you what. You might already know what's going to happen. But I want you to use your white crayon and draw some secret designs on here that you can find later. So I know there's some space here. Maybe I'll do some more. I'll do wavy lines. I'm going to push really, really hard so that I get a lot of wax. I can't see what I just drew, but I know it's there. When I look really close, I can kind of see it, but it's very hard to see right now. I wonder what's going to happen when I paint over it. Okay, let me do another really wavy line. I'm pushing kind of hard. What if I do a wavy line up here? Maybe I'll do a wavy line down here. You know what? Maybe I'll put a wavy line on my ice cream to make it look shiny. Okay, now you can't see it, but I have white wavy lines all over my paper. I'm done with my crayons. When you're done with your crayons, put them away for now, and you're ready to start to watercolor paint. Remember, you're going to open up your paints. Your paints look nicer than mine. Mine are a little bit old, and they don't want to open up right now. Come on, paint. There we go. Remember, your paints are new, so they are dry. and dusty. The way you activate them is you get a little bit of water on your paintbrush and then swoosh your paintbrush around on that paint color, around and around and around until you see your paintbrush start to pick up some of the color. I see a little bit of orange happening here, so I would be ready to paint. Now, I'm not going to paint my artwork because that would ruin the experiment. You are going to paint your artwork. When you paint, you can paint any colors you want. Just because this ice cream has a red outline doesn't mean the inside has to be red. You could do red here and then a purple filling inside. Your ice cream cone could be painted over in yellow. Your background, you could use black and paint your background. You could mix black and blue and anything you want. I want you to play around with your watercolor paint. Remember, if you add more water to your paint, it gets thinner and the colors get a little bit lighter. So try that. Try making light colors and then try painting really dark colors with less water. You are experimenting. What I want you to find out when you're painting are these questions, okay? So you are the artist. You draw your picture, and then I want you, while you're painting, to think about this. If you have your family with you, you can even talk to them about these questions. When you paint, think about these key questions. Does the paper get wet? How do you know your paper is getting wet? What do you notice about your paper? How does it change? Does the texture change? Does the color of the paper or the paint change? Do your crayon marks also get wet? Look at where you have crayon. When you paint on top of it, does the paint go on top of the crayon? Does it go through the crayon? What happens? How does it look? How can you tell? Remember, a scientist makes observations. They look at things and they think about them. An artist does that too. Observe what happens when you paint over top of your crayon. How does your crayon drawing look different when it's covered with the watercolor paint? What happened to those white spaces? Can you see them when you paint over them? Or did they just get covered up? So, artists, that's your job today. You're going to experiment with crayon and watercolor paints. And I hope you have a great time. If you make something really awesome that you want to share with me, ask your family and you can email me a picture. That would be really cool. Otherwise, just have a lot of fun and keep painting. Use your paper up. Use your sketchbook paper. And I might ask you to bring your paints to school sometime so that we can keep using them. If you are someone who's staying home this year, keep your paints in your school supplies so that we can use them sometimes too. I hope you guys had fun. And remember, you can pause the video or rewind it if something was too fast. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.